start to blush when somebody says your name. In my stomach there's a pain. You walk in my direction, I go the other way. I start to stutter when I speak.
But dare I say, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amor. My channel is all things beauty, fashion, lifestyle, travel, being your best self, and big entrepreneurship. And we can't do any of that without faith. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you stick around. All right, so now that we have our pleasantries out the way, because I always start a video with beautiful pleasantries, let's get into today's video. But pause. Before we get into today's video, let's talk about this makeup, okay? Because your girl did her thing, okay? I ate this makeup down. All of the products except for the foundation can be found on my website at www.thesajcosmetics.com. Because why? Your girl is a beauty brand owner and I'm on my way to the top. All right. I am going to speak into an existence. I am the next multi-millionaire black-owned beauty brand. There we go. I'm going to speak to y'all because it has to happen. All right. Anyway, let's get into today's video. It's been going through it. Okay. And these are just a few of the things that I've learned in this past year that has helped me elevate my lifestyle, right? So you would call this an elevation, a glow up, like I'm living in my softest era I've ever lived in. So these are just a few things that I feel like have helped me become this soft woman that I am today. All right. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying this worked for me. Okay. It worked for me, girl. All right, this is what worked for me. I'm just sharing my experiences with y'all. This is what worked for me. I hope it works for you, but this is what worked for me more. Okay, now let's get into it. So the first thing that I learned is to gatekeep. Gatekeeping myself, not gatekeeping skincare routines or the beautiful makeup that SAJ has or the nicest designer shoe that I have or a bag or anything like that. What I learned to do was gatekeep myself. There are a lot of people that I encounter on a day-to-day basis that I would love to get to know on a personal level. But after maybe one or two interactions with them, I realized that no, I can't do that. I can't put you in my circle. I can't put you in my life. I can't put you in my quote unquote game room. I have to gatekeep myself to ensure that everything that I've worked so hard for, everything that I'm building and everything that I would love to build into the future is kept sacred and safe. Not gatekeeping myself has landed me in positions where I feel like I was not safe in a friendship or safe in a relationship or just safe in a business aspect or a job. But now I gatekeep a lot of myself. I know you guys say like, well, you're on social media. How can you gatekeep yourself? I show you what I want you to see on social media. The ins and outs, the who I am, the everyday lifestyle, the woman that I'm becoming, the woman that I have become. You guys are not privy to all of that. And that's because I get to gatekeep myself. Gatekeep yourself from any and everybody. I'm not saying, be this stuck up, snooty type person where you never let anyone in, because we all need someone, right? But I do want you to be that person that has some discernment to say, you know what? That's not something I need to share right now. Or you know what? That's not a person that I need to allow into my life or to allow access to me. I'm going to gatekeep myself. So one thing that I've learned over the past year is that gatekeeping myself has kept me in a safe, secure environment. All right, number 2. Y'all, this probably should have been number 1. This probably should have been number 1, but it's number 2. Let's talk about it. Saying no. All right. No. I can say no in at least 3 languages. Okay. English. No. Spanish. No. Yoruba. Rara. No. Okay. I've had the hardest time saying no. And I've had the hardest time saying no because I know what it's like to be in a struggle or be in a financial deficit where you need someone to say yes to you, and nobody's been there to rescue you or save you or give you that yes, right? But what I have learned is that those no's that I got, and after a couple of them, trust me, your girl stopped asking. I'm not going too deep into it, but I noticed that the no's turned me into a stronger, more resilient person. Now, could I have been that stronger, resilient person with a yes? Absolutely, I could have been. But I think those no's have shaped the way that I look at life. And I'm learning to tell others no, because they need, and not as if I'm trying to teach them a lesson. I don't want this to come out bad, but they need to learn their lessons as well. And if you're always the saver of everybody's downfall, financial burdens, or whatever the case may be, they're never going to learn on their own. They're going to continue to be in that same cycle over and over and over again of doing the same thing that's causing them to get into these situations where they did have to come to you about something, and you have to be the one that says no. Saying no has saved me from a lot of heartache, pain, financial deficit, like being able to say no. If you go out with a group of friends, and every time you go out with a group of friends, you're the one that's always picking up the check, and let's just say this one time you decide to go out with the group of friends and you don't pick up the check, look and see how that room looks. Everybody's looking around like, what's going on? Because you have always been the one that has carried the weight. And no longer are we carrying the weight of anyone else. We're only carrying the weight of ourselves, no one else. So learn to say no. No will save you a lot of headache in the future. And I know this may seem like, oh, I'm being so serious or I'm kind of being funny or whatever. But I do remember about a year or so ago, which is why I started saying no. I was doom scrolling on the internet like we all do, and I came across a post about from Lil Duval, and Lil Duval said in that post, he said when people ask him for money or people ask him for help, he says no. He says no. He said because sometimes you could be blocking the lesson that God is trying to give that person every time they reach out to you and you say yes. I thought about that thing and said, he's right. Because if you went at this another route, or you knew you didn't have this out or this avenue, you would make better decisions. And I'm specifically talking about financial decisions and or decisions with your children. So with that being said, no means no, say no and mean no, and stand on business with your no. Number 3, make more money. Making more money has changed my life significantly. I know we hate to talk about money. Money talk, when you're having a conversation about money, it's like, oh my God, this person is bragging about the things that they have or the money that they make. No, it's not that. I don't care what people say. Oh, money doesn't rule the world. Money doesn't buy you happiness. It may not buy you happiness, and it may not rule the world, but it definitely helps. You need money to survive. You need money to survive. All right. I'm not telling you to be obsessed with money. I'm not telling you to allow money to rule the way you handle people. And I'm not telling you to use money in a sense of getting something out of somebody. Like, I'm not saying use money in that sense. But what I'm saying is earning more money could help and will help a lot of the problems that a lot of people face. Right. I grew up in a very middle class type home, had mother and father. My mother was a homemaker for several years. My father was in the military. We had everything we needed and some things that we wanted, right? But there came a time in life where we had to learn that not everything was going to be handed to us. We had to go out there and work hard, get everything you want, right? And I have been a steward of working hard, baby. Okay. At one point in time, I remember one year doing my taxes, I had about 4 W-2s. I was a school teacher. I worked an independent contract job. I had an after school program that I worked. All right. And then I also had this other independent contract, 2 different contracts that I had at that particular time. And I was working all those jobs. How I was doing it, I don't know. I really don't know. But do I believe in working that hard now? Absolutely not. I'm not going to 4 different employers looking for financial gain. I will, however, make sure that I can have multiple streams of income, but that those multiple streams of incomes are working for me and I'm not necessarily working for them. I'm going to put the systems in place, right? So that they can work well for me. You have to make more money, especially in this economy that we're in now. Money should not be how you operate or how you treat people, or the amount of money that a person makes determines where you see them. But you should make more money. Making more money has significantly helped with my anxiety, has significantly helped with the way that I view the world and the way that I see the world. Money does matter. All right. And number 4, stop explaining yourself to others. You don't have to overly explain why you don't want to do something or why you do want to do something. Your yes is your yes and your no is your no, because I can guarantee you 99.9% of the time a person knows why you step back. A person knows why you're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Right? Stop overly explaining yourself. If you feel the need to offer a small blurb about something, that is definitely your prerogative. But nobody is entitled to an explanation. And I mean nobody, because if whatever that situation is, if it's detrimental to your health, if it's detrimental to your mental, or even detrimental to your finances, you don't have to explain it. You don't have to explain it. It's going back to where I said no means no. You don't have to overly explain yourself. It is what it is. You said what you said and stand on business. And number 5 is appearances, okay? Whether that be your fitness health, whether that be your overall health, or whether that be the way that you show up every day in different rooms, all right? Appearances makes everything better. And let's just be honest, people judge you based on the way you show up. The way they see you definitely determines sometimes how a person perceives you. So that's why appearances has definitely helped me glow up. I'm going to give you just a small example. A couple weeks ago, I went to a gala. We had a scholarship foundation fundraiser or gala for the Great Bethune-Cookman University. And during that particular time, after, we all wore nice gowns and things of that nature, I left that event and said, I wasn't ready to go home. So I'm going to just go down here to Morton Steakhouse, give me a nice little steak, a little salad, enjoy myself by myself. It was a solo thing. Nobody else was with me. I received so many compliments that night from men and women just based on my appearance. One lady walked up to me and said, aren't you that singer? No lie, you guys. And I'm like, no, I was going to have to take a picture with you. I'm like, oh, no, ma'am, just a, regular entrepreneur's business owner. She's like, oh, what kind of business do you have? And then we had a little conversation about SAJ, this and the third. So we exchanged informations in the sense of her, saying, oh, I'm going to reach out to your brand and I'm going to purchase some things from you. I am more. I am definitely somebody. But it was all because of the way I looked that night, the way I carried myself, how I showed him into the room unapologetically myself in this beautiful black sequins gown, which I'm going to have to insert because that video was crazy, where I just showed up in there as authentically myself and I commanded a room. And let me just be honest, I'm not tooting my own horn. This is something that I've always been big on and something that I've always done. My presence alone has always commanded a room just because of who I am and just because of how sure I am of myself and how much confidence I have in myself. My presence alone has always commanded a room, always. But now the way that my appearance is and the way that my confidence is, those two coupled together is a lethal. is a lethal weapon, baby. Right, y'all. So these are just 5 things that I've learned over the past year that I felt like has helped me in my glow up journey, that helped me be the best version of myself. If you guys like videos like this, let me know. I do have a few more on my list, but I'm like, hey, let me just get in my top 5 as of right now. So if you guys want to see more, make sure you coming down below. We want more, and I'll make sure to make another video, maybe a part 2 of my glow up journey. All right. And until next time, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, everything that you do it with confidence and you do it with ease. And until next time, bye.
In my stomach, there's a pain. You walk in my direction, I go the other way.